Okay, so let's manage Western flower thrips and onion thrips, the biological approach. These species are very similar in the way they look. I find Western flower to be a little bit bigger, but you can easily identify them with your scope. You look at the ocelli, onion thrips, they're gray. Western flower, they're red. There's other different characteristics. There's an ID guides online that are great resources when you're IDing Western or onion. The other difference with Western and onion, a lot of you probably know, there's a lot of sprays that may work on onion thrips and a lot of sprays that do not work on Western flower thrips. So a heavy biological approach in Western flower, and then onion, if you get that influx and your hot spots, there are more sprays that will work on the onion. So when your cuttings arrive, you want to, again, your scouting techniques, hanging yellow monitoring cards per house and doing your weekly reports on thrips populations. After you're sticking and planting, you're applying the nematodes. And then after 1 or 2 weeks, you could include the Metarhizium or the Beauveria spray or sprench for extra, another layer of control. And then when your cuttings are rooted and off mist, introducing soil-dwelling predators like the Atheta and Hypoaspis. With Atheta, you need like maybe 3 releases, and they should establish in the greenhouse. With Hypoaspis, a lot of growers do 1 release, and you can find them in your crops. If you want, you could change your rates, and if you wanted an extra release of Hypoaspis, that's not a bad thing either, depending on your rates and the way you're releasing. And then another option would be to introduce biostimulants containing orthosilicic acid to increase the plant resilience. I'll show on the side, I'll show a little case study of a greenhouse in the area did. So you can see on the left, their starting point with thrips. The orange is their echinothrips, and the yellow is their Western flower thrips. So they had high thrips pressures. So here's the trial area. This is the control, this is the trial area. Sorry, the top is the starting point, and then this is after 12 weeks of implementing its Maxim Egg Plus and Maxim Sinosa products. And they basically, for the Egg Plus, they drenched every 4 weeks. So that'd be 3 applications in the 12 weeks. And the Maxim Sinosa, they drenched it every 2 weeks for a total of 6 applications. And they saw a significant reduction in their thrips on using the biostimulants. This is Gerbera, cut Gerbera. Yeah. So that's pretty cool to see. All right, moving on with the strategies. So after your plants are spaced and if they're pots, you're following up with a predatory mite sachet application along with your feeder mites to help with the adaptation in the microclimate. And then this will, so the feeder mites will also support the beneficials if the thrips pressure is low. They'll stick around in the crop for a lot longer. And then your mass trapping, you'd focus them in areas where there's high influxes. Let's say you have a hot wall where you're constantly finding your onion or your Western flower. You just like load the sticky cards or the mass trapping tape there. As a grower, you know your greenhouse the best, so you know where your hotspots are, and even like forecasting yearly. You're saying, okay, well, July's coming, there's going to be a drought, so we're going to get an influx of onions. So just implementing your strategy that way works too. And then just reiterating that Western flower thrips develop resistance relatively faster than any other species. So leveraging your biocontrols to disrupt its reproductive cycle. So then another added approach could be weekly LVM applications of Metarhizium or sprays. It's nice to do it in the afternoon when the relative humidity is higher, between 60 and 80%. That just better allows the fungus to work and infect the thrips. And then if thresholds continue to increase during hot periods, following up with hotspot sprays of Suffoil X, doing maybe your spray before re-releasing a predatory mite, for example, to mitigate potential gaps from dead bios, because Suffoil X may disrupt the predatory mites. But when I was growing, I liked doing weekly Suffoil X's, especially when thrips pressure was really high in the summer. Just like a light spray on the top of the crop would be safe, relatively safe, because your predatory mites, especially in hot summer, will most likely be on the underside of the leaf. So when you're just doing your spray over top, you're going to get those thrips on the upper leaves or maybe in like your flowers. And as a weekly, it's a nice preventative. When I was growing mums, I found even a rate of 10 mils per liter was safe on mums. So always test your crops with phyto, but and then another spray option, Success works good on onion thrips, but again, harmful to predatory mites. For Western flower, like Belief does not work, Avid doesn't work, maybe Pylon a little bit, but like I said, Ferrants, maybe like 3 applications of Ferrants, but again, you don't want to build that resistance. So it's really difficult with Western flower thrips. Like Parvi, you have to just be really diligent on your biocontrol, using every single layer of IPM. So when you do your fungicide applications, let's say, you need to be aware of a 48-hour window before and after your Metarhizium and Beauveria application. So dialing in your other pesticide applications, like for powdery mildew or botrytis, kind of correlating the window in what you're doing it. You would do your powdery mildew preventative before your Beauveria, so you're not harming those entomopathogenic fungi. And then you can also add trap plants and your entomopathogenic fungi like Metarhizium and Beauveria, as well as your nematodes in like hotspot areas. There's pheromone lures with traps. Like in the picture here, you have your trap plant with your sticky card, and then there would be like a pheromone or a vanilla to attract the thrips. Virin chrysanthemum is a really good thrip magnet if you're in need of a trap plant, and you can get virin cuttings.